There is a silent war happening within you. Not a war of flesh and blood, but of thought and belief, of fear and desire, of strength and surrender. Every day you are either mastering your mind or being mastered by it. There is no middle ground, no safety in passivity. You're either rising or falling, building or breaking. You're either the commander of your life or the captive of your emotions, impulses, and limiting beliefs. Most people never realize they are prisoners. They walk the earth in invisible chains, chained to habits they didn't choose, to fears they never questioned, to opinions that aren't even their own. They follow the path that was paved for them by society, by their upbringing, by failure, by comfort. They wake up every morning reacting, never creating. They obey the voice in their head without ever asking, who gave that voice authority? But if you are to rise, if you are to transform your life into a masterpiece of vision, discipline, and relentless pursuit, you must master the battlefield of the mind. That is where everything begins. That is where empires are built or broken. That is where success either becomes a reality or a fantasy that haunts you for the rest of your life. The first victory is always internal. What you think, you become. That's not just poetic, it is the law. Napoleon Hill knew it. So did Edison, Ford, Carnegie, and every titan who shaped civilization. They understood this. Every invention, every breakthrough, every fortune started not in a factory or a bank, but in the mind of a man who refused to let fear lead. Your external life will never outgrow the limits of your internal belief. A man with a weak mind can inherit a fortune and lose it all. A man with a strong mind can start with nothing and bend the world to his vision. So ask yourself, what kind of mind are you building? Because your thoughts are not innocent. They are architects. They are chiseling away at your future, carving your destiny with every word you speak to yourself. You don't need better luck. You need better thinking. You don't need more time. You need more clarity. The difference between those who break free and those who stay trapped is not talent or resources or connections. It is mental domination. It is the ability to silence the noise, override the fear, and persist with ruthless focus when the world says, give up. No man has ever achieved greatness by accident. Not Lincoln, not Mandela, not Martin Luther King. They were not waiting for permission. They were not hoping to be rescued. They had a belief so fiery, so defiant, that even prison's bullets and ridicule could not extinguish it. Their vision was not just seen, it was felt. It moved mountains because it moved them first. That same power is inside you. But belief is not something you stumble into. It is something you forge. It is something you hammer into existence through action, failure, and relentless self-talk. You don't wait to believe when it's easy, you decide to believe when it's hardest. That's when the belief is real. Belief is not pretending things are fine. Belief is saying, even if they aren't, I will still move forward. When the world doubts you, belief is your shield. When your past screams, you can't, belief is the sword you raise in defiance. And here's the truth, no one tells you. The universe doesn't respond to talent. It responds to conviction. A man who believes he is worthy will always outlast a man who only hopes he is. The mind is a jungle when it is not disciplined. It will pull you in 1,000 directions. You will chase goals that are not yours. You will climb mountains you don't even want to reach the top of. Without clarity, you become a puppet dancing for approval, living for the weekend, drifting through life, hoping that something, anything will give you purpose. But clarity is the sword that cuts through the fog. When you know exactly who you are, what you want, and what you're willing to do for it, you become dangerous, unstoppable, focused like a laser. Clarity is what makes the lion different from the sheep. Both have instincts, but only one knows exactly what it's hunting. Do not chase everything. Chase one thing until it falls. Ask yourself, what do I really want? Who must I become to deserve it? And what must die within me for that version of me to live? Your clarity is your compass. Without it, you'll work hard and still get lost. With it, even your detours become steps toward your destiny. Before Walt Disney built a kingdom, he was just a man with a vision. People laughed. Banks denied him. Partners betrayed him. But he saw something they didn't. He saw the finished castle while others saw the empty dirt. That's what vision does. It allows you to walk by faith, not by sight, to build when nothing exists yet, to believe it's real before anyone else does. Vision is the fuel of the mind, but here's what most people don't understand. Vision isn't just a dream, it's a command, a demand you place on your life, a declaration that says, this is where I'm going, and nothing, no failure, no rejection, no delay will stop me from getting there. You must see it so clearly that it becomes real to your nervous system. You must speak it so often that your own doubt gets tired of arguing. You must act on it so relentlessly that the world eventually has to move because you already did. A man without purpose is a man drifting through life with no gravity. He wakes up tired. He works without meaning. He distracts himself with noise because silence reminds him he doesn't know who he is. And that is the most dangerous place a human can live, not in poverty, not in struggle, but in aimlessness. Purpose is the root of power. You don't need motivation when you have purpose. You don't need applause when your why is deeper than their praise. Purpose makes discipline easy. Purpose turns pain into fuel. Purpose turns your life from survival into a mission. Find what sets your soul on fire. Then burn everything that doesn't align with it. Don't settle for a paycheck if your heart was meant for legacy. Don't trade your destiny for comfort. Don't waste your strength climbing ladders that don't lead to the life you were called to build. Your purpose is not a cute slogan. It's the reason you were born. Dreams mean nothing without discipline. Discipline is the bridge. Discipline is the fireproof steel beneath every skyscraper of success. Every great man you've ever admired, from Da Vinci to Jobs, from Churchill to Kobe, they all had one thing in common. They did what needed to be done, whether they felt like it or not. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about persistence. It is about doing the hard thing over and over and over again until the world has no choice but to kneel to your consistency. People say they want success, but they flinch at discomfort. They say they want freedom, but won't give up the habits that enslave them. You will never rise higher than the level of pain you are willing to endure without complaining. Discipline is choosing progress over pleasure, choosing legacy over laziness, choosing the man you could become over the one you've been. And every time you choose discipline, you make a deposit into your future. The question is not, can I do it? The question is, will I do it when it's hard, boring, or unseen? That's where your power is forged, in silence, in the dark, when no one's watching. That's when you earn the right to shine in the light. The world rewards results, but life respects the grind. Thoughts are powerful, but they are not enough. The graveyards are filled with men who meant well, whose dreams died in journals and late-night fantasies. Action is the dividing line. Action is the proof that you believe. Want to kill fear, move. Fear feeds on hesitation. Fear multiplies in waiting rooms. But when you move, when you act, when you take the first step without seeing the staircase, fear has nowhere to grow. Action starves doubt. Action makes the impossible begin to bend. You don't need all the answers, you need the next move. People sit around praying for motivation, for certainty, for the right moment. But life does not reward delay. It rewards decisiveness. It rewards movement. And once you move, once you take the first step, momentum awakens. Confidence rises. Doubt fades. History remembers those who did not, those who wondered. It's easy to crave more. It's human to want to build, to expand, to rise. But never forget, your power does not only come from hunger, it also comes from gratitude. Because gratitude keeps your mind in alignment. Gratitude keeps your spirit from becoming bitter in the battle. It sharpens your vision and softens your heart. A man who's grateful can endure longer. He sees what he has, not just what he lacks. And that clarity, that groundedness, keeps him from self-destruction. Think of Edison failing over 10,000 times. What kept him going? Hunger, yes, but also gratitude for every single lesson, every wrong turn that revealed the right one. Gratitude turns obstacles into opportunities. It turns waiting into preparation. It turns pain into power. So take a moment not to retreat, but to remember. Look at how far you've come, not with pride, but with awareness. Because what you appreciate expands, and a grateful mind is an unstoppable force. No battle goes exactly as planned. No life unfolds without disruption. The economy shifts. People betray you. Your body falters. Your timing feels wrong. If your mind is rigid, life will shatter it. But if your mind is adaptable, you become like water, unstoppable, ungraspable, essential. Adaptability is not weakness. It is mastery. The oak tree that won't bend in a storm breaks, but the bamboo, it bends. It sways. It survives. And when the storm passes, it stands tall. You must be the same. Have your vision, but stay open to new paths. Have your goal, but evolve your strategies. Have your convictions, but release your need for control. Control is an illusion, but how you respond is power. When Ford's first companies failed, he didn't abandon the dream. He adapted the process. When Disney was told he lacked imagination, he didn't listen. He reimagined the pitch. The dream stays, the method shifts. This is how warriors stay standing, when the world shifts under their feet. Pain is not the enemy. Setback is not defeat. It is your response to adversity that defines your future. Resilience is the crown worn by those who refuse to stay down. You will fall. That is not a possibility, it is a certainty. You will lose. You will be laughed at. You will cry rage and question everything. But the question is never, will I break? The question is always, will I rise? Resilience is not toughness. It is not pretending nothing hurts. It is choosing to rise anyway. It is choosing to walk while bleeding, to build while doubting, to smile while the storm screams around you. Lincoln failed in business, lost elections, suffered immense personal grief, but he rose again and again and again until history had no choice but to remember him. Because what separates the great from the forgotten is not how smooth the road was, but how relentless their stride remained. Resilience means you can't kill me with failure. A weak mind hides from truth. A strong mind hunts it down. You want to grow, get humble. The moment you think you've arrived, you've already started to rot. The mind must be upgraded, stretched, challenged constantly. Just like muscle, it grows through resistance. Study the greats, not to imitate, but to integrate. Let their failures become your fast-forward buttons. Let their lessons shave years off your journey. You don't have time to learn everything the hard way. Learn from their bruises, their bankruptcies, their breakthroughs, and not just from books from everywhere. From that failed job, that toxic relationship, that moment you stayed silent when you should have spoken. All of it, it's school if you let it be. Be a student of life. Be obsessed with elevation. Never say, that's just how I am. Say, that's who I was and this is who I'm becoming. Because every day, your mind is either evolving or decaying. You are the king of one kingdom, your inner world. And if you don't rule it, someone else will. Their opinion will. Their judgment will. Their timeline, their version of success, their limits will become your ceiling. Do not let the world gaslight you into shrinking. They'll call your vision unrealistic, your focus obsessive, your standards too high. But listen, those voices do not live your life. They do not walk in your shoes. They do not die with your regrets. So why should they lead your decisions? You want freedom? Rule your inner court, because the man who controls his mind cannot be manipulated by the world. When you master your mind, something changes. You walk differently, speak less, listen deeper. You stop chasing and start attracting. Why? Because your presence becomes undeniable. You've seen it before, the man who enters a room and shifts the temperature. Not by volume, but by vibration. He doesn't need to prove anything because he knows who he is. He has faced his inner demons, slayed his self-doubt, chosen discipline over desire again and again. That energy cannot be faked. It cannot be borrowed. It must be earned. This is the reward of self-mastery. You no longer seek permission to be powerful. And so the choice stands before you today, now in this moment. Master your mind or stay a slave. There is no freedom in waiting. There is no breakthrough without responsibility. No man was born disciplined. No one came into this world fearless. Every champion you admire was once confused, scattered, afraid. The only difference, they chose to fight the war within. They chose to kill the old mind and build a new one. Master your mind or stay a slave. Piamarton. So the next time you hear that voice, the one that whispers, "You're not enough," the one that urges you to quit, to scroll, to snooze, to hide, you look it dead in the eye and say, "Not today, I run this now," because that voice isn't truth. It's just the echo of your past, the memory of every time you backed down when life demanded more. But you're not that person anymore. Not if you decide you're not. This is the turning point. Not tomorrow, not next year, right now. This is where you kill the old story. The one that said I'm a victim, the one that said it's too late, the one that waited for luck, for help, for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. The battlefield is now. And if you don't rise, your mind will write a future that looks just like your past, safe, small, predictable, and empty. But if you rise, even trembling, even bleeding, you shatter the script. You become the author. You write a new ending. Because power is not about never falling. Power is about rising deliberately every single time. You think mastery is some mystical gift. No. Mastery is forged. In the mornings you don't want to get up, but do. In the moments you want to snap, but don't. In the hours when no one sees you, but you grind anyway. This is the quiet work, the unseen labor of legends. You're not chasing motivation anymore. You're chasing mastery. Motivation is a spark. Mastery is the fire you build when the spark goes out. And if you still think you're too broken, too lost, too far behind, let me say this. So was every man who became something. Malcolm X was a criminal before he became a prophet. Oprah was abused before she built an empire. Nelson Mandela sat in prison longer than most people commit to their dreams. Their past did not disqualify them, it prepared them. And if you're still breathing, you're still building. You are not late, you are arriving. But only if you choose to leave the chains behind. Only if you stop giving your mind over to fear, doubt, impulse, and distraction. You are not your emotions. You are not your past. You are not your environment. You are what you consistently command your mind to become. You want power, speak like it. You want success, move like it. You want peace, think like it. Because the moment you master your inner world, the outer world starts responding. Not immediately, not easily, but inevitably. The world bends not to wishes, but to will. To the man who walks like his vision is already real, who builds it brick by brick without fanfare or applause, who trains his mind to obey and his emotions to serve, not lead. And yes, people will question you. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're obsessed. They'll say you're too intense, too focused, too much. But they won't be saying it when they see you free. Free in your thoughts, free in your finances, free in your spirit, untouchable, unshakable, unstoppable. So ask yourself now, the only question that matters, are you ready to lead your mind or keep following it? Because every day you hesitate is another day you serve a master that was never meant to rule you. You were not born to react. You were born to create. You were not built to be controlled by mood or moment. You were built to command storms, to move mountains, to bend reality through will. But only if you train, only if you decide, only if you rise. So rise, master your mind or stay a slave. And if you choose mastery, then nothing and no one will ever own you again.